This is The Blockchain Show. The Blockchain Show is a weekly podcast that demystifies and promotes widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technology. You're listening to Episode 8 covering blockchain and cryptocurrency news for the week of June 12th to June 18th. This week we are joined by Nelson Wei Tan, a professor at San Jose State University. We will discuss his higher education smart contract idea, the recent exploitation of the DAO, and the Australian Flux party. And now for the bits. Health Data Management posted a recent article asking, does blockchain have a role in healthcare? According to the article, there's a growing realization that blockchain technology could help answer many of the vexing questions in healthcare regarding keeping better track of patients' electronic records and improving the security with which they're shared.
One new service is hoping to prevent ticket fraud with Ethereum smart tickets. Lava Movement uses blockchain and Ethereum technology to sell tickets that can't be duplicated, controlling the face value of the ticket price.
Brian Ford of the MIT Media Lab said that blockchain presents, quote, an opportunity to reinstill the trust that has been lost in banking and finance, end quote, in his recent keynote address, Singularity University's Exponential Finance Conference. One couple decided to immortalize their love via a distributed ledger. According to News BTC, today's Bitcoin news, the proposal over Bitcoin network was mined by the Chinese Bitcoin mining company HowBTC. While there are speculations about whether the whole thing is just a publicity stunt by the Bitcoin company or someone really did send a marriage proposal over the blockchain, it can still be considered as a milestone for the digital currency platform.
Quartz posted an article this week about how blockchain technology can prevent the next financial crisis, disrupt Uber, and give us control of our data. The article features an interview with Blockchain Revolution authors Alex and Don Tapschott.
Brave New Coin reported on June 14th that cybersecurity expert, libertarian presidential candidate, and founder of McAfee Antivirus, John McAfee, is taking over as CEO at publicly traded MGT Capital Investments, Inc. In his new role, McAfee is already focusing on how to secure cryptocurrencies. The company previously invested in and developed a wide array of intellectual property.
According to Kalu's CEO Amos Mary, in a recent Wired article, widespread use of blockchain technology could help local economies stay local and support small and medium-sized businesses. Kalu offers a toolbox for building blockchain-based applications.
A new white paper proposes ending homeless hunger with the blockchain. The paper, drafted by Block Crusher founder Scott Burke, describes a mechanism to revolutionize person-to-person street giving using the Ethereum blockchain in cooperation with community organizations and food retailers to increase market efficiency by tapping into cashless payment methods and to ensure that the giver's value is spent for the intended purpose, feeding the receiver.
Microsoft Director of Blockchain Business Development and Strategy, Marley Gray, authorized a white paper released this week about Project Bletchley, Microsoft's architectural approach to building an enterprise consortium blockchain ecosystem. Bletchley is not a new blockchain stack. It is Microsoft's approach to bringing distributed ledger platforms into the enterprise to build real solutions addressing real business problems while keeping the platform open.
Financial Times reported this week that Canada is experimenting with putting a digital version of its currency called CADcoin on the blockchain. The initiative will involve issuing, transferring, and setting central bank assets on a distributed ledger.
Finally, big news this week in the world of the DAO. Last week there was an exploitation in the DAO's contract code that allowed one user to acquire around $50 million of Ether using a recursive attack. Ethereum developers stopped the attack and are now faced with the choice of letting the thief withdraw the money in 27 days or attempting to stop the withdrawal, which would require a solution called a hard fork that would change the Ethereum protocol. The community remains divided and the DAO's very existence is in jeopardy.
For links to all the articles referenced in the bits, you can visit the show notes at theblockchainshow.com.
joined today by a professor at San Jose State University. Is it Nelson Wei Tan?
Yep, that's me, the Cricket Man.
The Cricket Man, fan of the show. We
Yep.
Excited to have you on. You wanted to talk a little bit about the jump right into the DAO and the exploit today. You've been following that a little bit?
That was kind of a rude awakening this morning. I haven't been following it. I read that it was a bug in one of the smart contracts, right?
Yeah, there was as best as I can tell, there was a exploit which allowed a splitter of the DAO, allowed people to kind of split from the DAO and get back their investment, get back their ether. And what the attacker did was, you could, while you were in the split function, you could recursively call it. So you would say, like, I want to, let's say you had, 10 ether invested in the DAO. You could vote to split, and it would send you your 10 ether. But right directly after it sent you your 10 ether, it would, you could recall it and say, send me another 10 ether, and then call that again and say, send me another 10 ether, and then call. And so he just recursively called to split, to send in the 10 ether without the balance going down. So it was kind of a, he exploited a problem with the DAO contract.
So what, he stole $53 million worth of ether?
Yeah, currently at the current prices, it's about 50, let's just say 50 million. At the time, it was probably about 75 million, somewhere around there. And so it's all locked up to an address that he controls. It looks like the team at Ethereum under Vitalik's lead will actually find a way to roll that back in a way where DAO token holders, looks like they're going to close down the DAO, refund everybody their money, and it'll just be kind of like a failed experiment or a learning experience for everybody. No guarantees. You can still, like, if you have DAO tokens, you can still sell them at about like a 30% discount. So you can get right around 70% of your ether back currently if you want to sell it on an exchange, or you can wait to see what happens going forward.
Oh my God! So you're saying I shouldn't buy in right at this moment?
Well, you could possibly. There are some people who it looks like it's going to go forward, and so if you bought in, you make 30%, on whatever you invested, because you can get, a 100 ether worth of DAO tokens for 70.
I see. Huh.
If that makes sense. So I personally wouldn't recommend it unless you know more information than I do.
Nope.
But I mean, there's people doing it, so because otherwise, it would just go to zero.
Yeah. So I was reading about some people want it to fail, and because if Vitalik does what he does, it's not really decentralized anyways. So it's against the principle of decentralized organization. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a few sides to this, and I think there's a number of people who have nuanced position. I can kind of see both sides. There's certainly a hardline stance of people who want the DAO to fail, don't want any intervention from Vitalik, and I see where they're coming from, and I don't want to say that they're wrong. I don't know what will happen. I think that there's a position someplace in the middle that's probably the best answer. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one. You have a very clearly what appears to be a thief who found an exploit. So I can see both sides, and I don't think I stand on one side or the other to say that's 100% correct. It seems like whatever happens is not ideal for anybody, really.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. 53.
So, by the way, I donated Ether to you guys.
Oh, did you donate the $5 worth of Ether?
Yeah, that's me.
No, that's you. Thank you, man.
So it's probably not worth a lot now, right?
It's probably worth about the same. I think you donated
the same?
Yeah, I think you donated about around the time it was right around 15.
Am I the only one who donated?
There was another attempt to donate. Somebody was trying to donate $10, but they didn't put enough. Didn't pay enough gas. So I don't know if it's something I did wrong or.
You guys should take Bitcoin, man. I got more Bitcoins than Ether.
We just added a shapeshift function. So if you wanted to donate with, Bitcoin or any of the currencies that Shapeshift offers, one of the cool things about the, having the split functionality is, if you donate to the show, it automatically goes to the four of us that are involved in it.
So, yeah, Bitcoin's like blowing up right now.
Yes, it is. It is doing quite well. I think China and the halvening are the main causes.
Sweet.
Very nice.
But I wonder what the price is currently.
I think it was like 700, way past 700.
Yeah. 743 according to Google right now. Pretty big.
Are you rolling?
We are rolling.
Oh, Sarah's in.
Like a river?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello?
I'm the Cricket Man.
Oh, you're the Cricket Man.
He donated to us. He's the guy that
Oh
gave us
my
5.
God! Now you just climbed 1,000 rungs of coolness.
I say maybe now we can afford an exterminator.
Yes.
No,
That's
seriously,
awesome.
you guys are doing a great job. I enjoy listening to your show. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for being on. It's really cool to have a guest. You're our first official guest.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Where in the world are you?
I'm in Silicon Valley.
Oh, how perfect.
So, yeah.
So you're a super insider.
No, not really. I think there are a lot of people who know this domain way far better than I do. I think Silicon Valley is just getting excited with all these blockchain technologies. And, I'm originally from Singapore, and they're doing a lot of, advanced stuff with fintech and blockchain over there. So kind of, interested with the buzz. So trying to get my fit in there. Yeah.
So are you a part of that? Do you do something in the blockchain world?
No, not really. I'm just a participant and learner. So my full-time job is an assistant professor at San Jose State University.
Oh, yes, that's
department. Right. Yeah, in the Department of Design. So part of my research is always looking at all these new emerging technologies and how that would change or change the user experience of how we interact with stuff.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
This is a perfect palette.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So you must hear a lot. You must bounce these ideas off of a lot of students then.
Not with a lot of students, but with other academics, with people. Well, for my summer position, I worked at Intuit, obviously a financial, a tool for small businesses. So I do bounce ideas from people at work. All the geeky stuff. It's pretty cool.
I'm more of a nerd, but I'm glad to be here.
We keep it real.
Nerds.
Right. Like I'm a Harry Potter nerd. So this is this is a whole new world for me.
Yeah, all the billionaires were nerds, So
That's a positive thought.
yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, we were just talking about the DAO being exploited while you were gone.
Oh.
Did you hear about that?
No.
Something like $53 million siphoned out of the DAO.
No.
Yeah. I was sad.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, well, the joke is DOA, dead on arrival.
Oh no. I had to be explained that one. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm sorry, I'm still a little crushed because here I had it in my head that this was so strong and infallible.
Yeah, we were going to accept the DAO for our lemonade stand.
Yeah.
Were you? Or just...
Well, it was it's on the
I
sign.
don't even know if that's possible, but we put it on the sign.
Yeah.
Ether or the DAO? DAO token?
3 of them because they were in the Jack's wallet, and I thought, why exclude the DAO when it seems to be the hot topic?
New cryptocurrency just got added to Jack's, Dash, which was previously called Darkcoin. So it's a much more anonymous cryptocurrency. All the cryptocurrencies are kind of pseudo-anonymous at this time, where if you do certain things like always change your address, you can remain relatively anonymous. But if you don't do certain things, if you don't, change your address all the time, using unique address, somebody who analyzes the blockchain can tell who you are. With Dash or Darkcoin, it's tumbled, so it makes it a really anonymous cryptocurrency, or at least that's the marketing behind it. And
Sweet.
When Jax reached out to see what they wanted to add next, the users voted for Dash, so that just got approved, I believe, today, a few hours ago.
Is that like the opposite of Litecoin?
No, not really. Litecoin, I'm not sure why Litecoin
Because it's dark. It's like in the shadows. You don't know. It's anonymous. You don't know where I live. This is my dark coin from the dark worlds. You can't see.
A little bit like Harry Potter.
There's a card game called Spells of Genesis that is each card is actually a token on blockchain, and one of the recent cards that they created was the Colossus of DAO, and it was it had like, the Colossus is able to withstand all threats. Well, apparently not.
Oh no!
It's like the Titanic.
I know exactly.
Not exactly.
Man.
Oh dear me! Does anybody know yet how this happened? I'm sorry if I'm a little Johnny come lately on this. Apparently you've been talking about it, but has it been discovered yet how it can be defeated?
Like an attack by a person who probably wanted to short Ethereum. So what they did was, before they attacked the DAO, they took out contracts shorting Ethereum. So if the price of Ethereum goes down, they would make money on the exchanges based off of the price going down. It doesn't look like they're actually going to walk away with any Ethereum. It looks like, and this is kind of like a huge no-no in the cryptocurrency world. People want, once a transaction happens on the ledger, they want that to be, forever set in stone. Immutable is the term that they use. And it'd be interesting to see, how an outsider views this. So you have an exploit, and somebody who pretty clearly is a thief attacking a smart contract. And the smart contract was built in a way that allowed them to siphon off Ethereum or Ether money from the smart contract. Now, the protocol is set up in a way where the developers can reverse that or kind of change that. And the community is split on whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. Does the community get involved and stop the thief? From one side, they might say, do we bail out the DAO holders? They're the ones who invested the money into the DAO. They're the ones that should know better than to put their money into a smart contract that could have flaws in it. They were aware of the bugs, and they should bear the brunt of the responsibility. Where others, the other side is, there's a time when Ethereum will be that way, but that time is not there yet. We need to make, as many hard forks as it takes to make Ethereum, strong and secure. Do you see, do you have an opinion on that?
No, I'm trying to figure out what forks are, hot forks are? Maybe you could explain a little bit about that.
I think a lot of the demarcation between soft forks and hard forks it's kind of political in nature. But when you have the main difference is that soft forks and hard forks is soft forks is backwards compatible, so that you don't really break any old clients. So you roll out a soft fork and everything that existed before that was working would still work, and a hard fork actually make a change of the protocol, so old clients no longer work, and you have to upgrade. There's certainly a difference there, but is it really as big of a difference as people make it out to be? I'm kind of on the fence on that one.
Sometimes I literally have to listen to Steve a few times. I rewind it on the podcast just so that I can understand, and then later I go, oh my God. All right, finally I get it. This is going to be one of those times for me.
Yeah, I think it's for me as well.
Well, that makes me feel so much better. I still don't comprehend the forks. I'm sorry. I don't know what words are getting me messed up in there, because I really, honestly, I want to know. I want to wrap my mind around. I think I kind of took it. Here I like to say question everything, but I really, this is all so new to me that I don't even know how to question this. But I have been learning about this as if it's like super secure, because there's so many places to verify something happening, or at least that seems to be what the ideal would be. I don't know how even big, if you can quantify it, the blockchain is. But right. So when I hear this stuff, I don't know. This will take me a while to deconstruct, because I still don't quite understand it. I wish I could have an opinion on it.
Right. I think one of the things that is pretty easy to, and I'm sure that there's a number of articles that are being written right now that equate, the DAO with Ethereum, and probably some that equate the DAO with Bitcoin. But the DAO and Ethereum are two separate things. There was nothing wrong with the Ethereum protocol that caused this exploit. It was specifically with the way the DAO contract was written.
Oh, I see. So it wasn't an actual structural thing. It was more of a loophole-y, kind of sneaky, wordy trick then. No?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, I feel much better now.
So the Ethereum protocol is still secure. Like when Mt. Gox was I don't know what happened with Mt. Gox, but when Mt. Gox imploded, it wasn't anything wrong with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin network, gets attacked all the time, and exploits are found and they're fixed immediately.
Oh, glory.
But nothing, it's made stronger with every attempt. And the same thing happens with Ethereum. But there was nothing wrong with Ethereum in itself. It was the way the DAO contract was written. There was somebody found an exploit in the code for the DAO.
So can I use an analogy, and then maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong? So is it like you can't really break the internet, but you can break a website?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Right, like you can't really hack the entire internet, but you can hack a website, right?
Right.
Is that kind of the same analogy with DAO? Like you can exploit the DAO contract, but you can't really break the Ethereum protocol.
Yeah. HTTP is still going to work. Even if somebody does a DOS attack on Google.com. You can attack a website or a DAO. Sure, I like it.
Cool.
Makes me think of Kim Kardashian's butt picture.
Does it?
Breaking the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
I bet somebody knew that.
I've heard a lot of Kim Kardashian jokes today. It must be something in the air.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. I wanted to get involved with a DAO.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't. I still don't really understand it. I look forward to rewinding Steve about 5 more times.
I heard it twice, and I'm still a little confused.
Hey, Nelson, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
It is Nelson, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So since, thanks to Steve, honestly, my horizons have been so broadened with all of this interesting new blockchain. This is not stuff I would normally be focusing on, believe me. But I really see it's like I can sit around and complain about shit, or I can organically move in this direction. I don't know if I'd say organic, but let's just say evolve. And I'm curious now. Like, I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine in Belfast today about what was going on over there, what was life like, and he and I kind of move in. We do the same sorts of things. Both of us are kind of active with. He's a teacher. He works with people with autism. This is kind of my sort of world. And I wondered what he knew of the Bitcoin universe, the blockchain universe. And I heard from him, that basically what I would have said a few months ago before Steve pulled me into this world. How is it that you became pulled into this world?
So I have a buddy of mine. His name is Dr. David Lee. He's the professor of economics at Singapore Management University. So he introduced the whole blockchain to me maybe sometime last year. And like everyone else, like, what the, heck is this, right? I read about.
You can say bad words on this show if you want to.
Oh yeah, we just murdered him, so it's fine.
I know. My son is in the room.
Oh, okay. Very nice, man.
Yeah. So what happened was, it provoked my interest, and then I started to read about it. My personal goal with blockchain technology is to really disrupt higher education. Since I've been in the domain for the last 11 years, I've seen how ridiculous student loans are in this country, and I thought, it would be cool if I could see if blockchain could kind of decentralize some of the stuff at universities.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And yeah, and as an educator, I've always believe that education should be free, and it should be nodal in structure. And I kind of see blockchain as a possible solution.
Did you say nodal in structure?
Nodal, N-O-D-E.
What do you mean by nodal in structure?
So, for example, if you learn something, it's not a professor teaching you stuff. We could learn from each other, peer-to-peer kind of structure.
Like we're doing right now.
Yeah, right. And doesn't matter if you can be an expert in a domain, but you should contribute to a larger conversation. So a lot of universities are siloed into its department, into its own discipline, right? So that's one possibility for peer-to-peer kind of learning. Resources, allocating of funds and to different departments based on size, curriculum structure, writing out what a 4-year, why does university have to be a 4-year structure, right? Education should be a lifelong experience. So, we want to see if we can kind of break some of this traditional mindset in terms of funding and structuring a university.
Oh my God, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love the possibilities of what it can do to information as well. Like, for a very long time, I mean, I hate to use this tired expression, but right now it's the one at hand. I grew up never knowing who Nikola Tesla was. I'm sure most of us did, right? Because that's how the information was presented. And this sort of, like you said, nodal sort of idea behind it, I think that's kind of a lot how podcasts are working a bit too. Like, sort of a dispersed, interesting way to distribute information that's different from how we've been fed it for a very long time. So you're able to sort of integrate new ideas in new ways that wasn't available, wasn't even something you knew about not that long ago.
Right. So I have an idea. Maybe I share it with you all, and maybe Steve, you can jump in and see if it's possible with DAO contracts, like smart contracts.
Yeah.
So the idea is based on. Are you familiar with the Mix School in San Francisco?
I am not.
So the Mix School is kind of a school where you attend with no tuition, and you really build products at that school, and at the end of the day you whatever you learn, whether it's like you get paid on the job or you sell your product, some of those profit goes back to the school.
Okay.
So that's the basics of it. I was thinking, what if you are part of this I call it the DAO for higher education, where you learn something and you contribute ideas back, and it helps you. Like, let's say if you graduate, I don't want to use the word graduate because technically you don't really graduate from learning,
Right.
but you finish something right at the end of a course, and you go and work in a job that you like, your dream job, and the amount that you make goes back to individuals that contributed to your education. So over the period of your lifetime, you are actually contributing back to whoever's been helping you gain that knowledge. I mean, can the DAO or smart contracts kind of facilitate that kind of model?
I would say, right off the top of my head, I would think that something like that could be arranged. There's a old expression. I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but it was like watch one, do one, teach one, where the methodology of education is that you would learn from somebody, then you would do it yourself, and then you would teach somebody else, and that was kind of one way to go about educating. As far as like a smart contract or a structural contract where you would interesting question. I'm sorry that I'm not answering your question. I kind of got sidetracked a little bit. Sorry about that.
I'm sidetracked with the possibilities. I really like that idea.
Yeah.
It seems like I know that you are not asking me because I am not the computer person in this world, but I'm telling you, there ought to be a way, because that rocks.
And I definitely think it would be doable. You could have and I think you're actually looking for people to reach out to you and help you with this idea, with this idea getting implemented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
or just form a team to kind of explore the possibilities and do a small test or something.
Cool. Well, the
I
whole
think
world's
it's been set in motion. I was going to say there's a call to arms right now out there. I always picture it like that in home when the little alien sends the Evite to the entire universe. That's what you're doing right now.
We got a lot of people. A lot of people listening. Maybe I don't know if you feel comfortable, but you could share your contact information. They could get a hold of you.
Or we could get some contact. We'll have it, on the show notes. We'll have it up on the website too. If you're cool with that.
Yeah, if you are sick of student loans and how much you're paying,
preach.
Come join me.
Hallelujah. I don't know who you're not touching right now.
It's great because you could build it so you could incentivize, the instructors. They're willing to help out. I guess you probably wouldn't have a direct demarcation between an instructor and a student. People would just be involved in the system, lifelong learning, helping other people achieve their dreams, and then being rewarded when they find, the job that they want. And people would, gladly pay back their instructors directly taking out the huge costs of tuition. Instead of going to the professors, good professors would earn more money based off of. I think this is a great idea.
Oh my God, it's
lots
so
of
good.
possibilities.
So many. I'm really, the more I'm thinking about it, the more excited I am about it, because you're rethinking the whole structure. There's so many things we just take for granted. This is how it is. This is how you do it. And that's one of those things where, why? That really can be a much wiser way to truly live and learn. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about, the rest of the world. People who have, really no access to education, and possibly this could reach out to them.
Yeah, I think that something like that wouldn't be as beneficial to somebody in the States, but certainly around the rest of the world. Even it would be beneficial in the States, but even more beneficial in developing countries.
I think there's so much to it too, because then that takes away a lot. I mean, it has the potential. Let me say this: it has the potential to take away so much. Gosh, that just sort of opens up a lot of doors. If you're talking even education, the openness that one would hopefully approaches education sort of leaves a lot to that breaking down of. We have a lot of, for lack of a better term, I suppose, like invisible walls up. People in other cultures and other places that we don't have direct contact with, and that really, when you get to sort of have that opportunity to work with people like that, I think that really opens up a lot of minds and hearts.
Do you feel as if there's a certain amount of benefits to, a campus experience that you wouldn't be able to duplicate with this type of setup, or would there be a analog in the blockchain space?
I wonder if we could build that into the smart contract.
Okay.
So when you want to gather people around, send out a smart contract as part of an agreement. I'm not a programmer, so I don't know how specifically that could be done.
Well, I mean, this is all brand new stuff. Like, nobody really knows what a smart contract is capable of. It's been theorized before, a year ago. It's only existed in theory for the most part. I don't think it's ever been, implemented really to have these type of systems. So
I could see a potential to raise funds to get people together in a space like a campus or a classroom. And that agreement is kind of written out on a smart contract, perhaps.
Yeah. I don't see why not. Have you come across any issues in your plan that you didn't come up with a solution for? Or
so this plan is like literally a week and a half old.
That's okay.
Wow, this is pretty neat.
So actually, this is kind of a call to get a team together.
Ooh, smart.
I'm going to talk to my colleagues over in Singapore. I do have a couple of friends at the Singapore Management University. You see, we're just starting to get people excited and hopefully form a team to explore on that idea. But I'm throwing out this idea, because I think it's valuable to anybody listening. If you want to take the idea and run with it, I mean, by all means, man. Yeah.
That's very cool. I hope there are many people listening who jump on this and form a brilliant coalition of, I was going to say thought leaders, but I just watched a whole spoof of TED Talks, so I don't know if that's the term I want to use.
Walking.
Yes, you saw it too.
Here's a chart. Here's a slide.
Right.
Here's a globe for no reason.
Right, and because I repeat it again, because I repeat it, and I slow down. I'm sorry, you haven't seen this, Nelson. Then we should become
No.
Facebook friends. I think I make too many
Okay.
Facebook jokes.
Sure.
I really want to be kept abreast on what you're doing with this, because I think this is a very inspiring and amazing idea. I think there's a lot to this. There's so much to it. So yeah, I'm going to hunt you down on Facebook.
Sure. I think I'm friends with Steve's wife.
Oh, you must be smart. She's my best
Heather.
friend in the whole wide world.
She added me on Facebook, so
She's my first wife, really. That's what I call her.
Just look for the cricket guy on the blockchain show.
cricket guy. Yes. Are there any other interesting stuff that you guys are working on, like with the blockchain and stuff like that?
Steve, I'm going to hand this to you.
Well, I just recently built the smart contract to handle donation splits, which was kind of my first writing of a smart contract. I think my second smart contract that I'm going to write is for a college fund. Although, from the sounds of it, we probably won't need that at all, because there's going to be a team that'll build an entire smart contract for the college experience.
That's right. You just ride those coattails.
Right. Assuming that doesn't happen, I think, just...
it's happening.
It's happening.
So it is said on the blockchain show, so it shall be done.
I'm looking to build, a smart contract that would lock up, funds until, 17 years in the future or something like that. That'll be my second smart contract. And then I just started working with Decibel.live, looking into building a smart contract platform for noise monitoring.
That's interesting.
Those are my interesting things.
What do you mean
now.
noise monitoring? What does that mean?
Certain there's a lot of different applications that it can be used for. Perhaps a hotel room wants to guarantee, a quiet stay for their guests. There'd be some way to instantly pay people who were affected by somebody being a little too noisy. Perhaps a solar farm, not a solar farm, but a wind farm. Their machines generate a little too much noise. They can be, levied fines based off of that. Perhaps you run at a traffic stop, you could, monitor the noise and see if, a traffic light, if a car is giving up too much noise, you could maybe, fine them or something like that. I just started on this project, so I'm looking forward to see how it turns out.
Me too, but you got me on that fine part. Although it's funny because before you said that, I had the second before you said that part about fining them, I thought that's sort of funny because I know a lot of people in Topanga Canyon who just despise with all their hearts and souls, and I can't blame them, the motorcycles that go through there and destroy their Zen sanctuaries. They'd probably jump, as much as they're all peace-loving hippies, they'd probably be like, slap some fines on those motorcycles right now. Is there a way we can tag them?
But it's kind of an interesting project. I saw that they were, a decentralized organization that anybody who wanted to join and add something to it would be able to add something to it, and your compensation for working on it will be decided by your peers. And I wanted to give it a try, and so I did.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions you came on the show for, Nelson, was you wanted to talk about industries which should be most affected by the blockchain, most ripe for disruption, and some industries which would be maybe the most helped.
That's a fun question.
Well, most helped. So in the summer, I worked for Intuit. And I think there's an article recently that talked about, is it the Wired one that said the blockchain is going to help small businesses? I think it's a Wired UK.
I even think I read
article. That one. I see a lot of potential in helping small businesses, and I don't even know if big businesses like enterprise businesses, corporations are going to be that big in the future because of blockchain. So I don't know. More power to the people, I guess. That's my hope for the use case of blockchain technology. So
me too. I honestly do see that too. I think that the average person, certainly the people that I know, and including myself, I would much rather, in fact, I go out of my way. I'd rather not go out of my way because I'm essentially lazy. So I will go to Target, but I will go out of my way to do business with people that are small businesses, people that even if I know or I end up knowing them, I very much love that concept. And being a person who is potentially a small business myself, 100% on board with that.
Yeah. So I also think a lot of the compliance structure that we have right now to do business, I hope it will go away.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
I don't know. I guess maybe governments are going to be disrupted as well. I know the banks. Right, the banks are, peeing in their pants right now. So, I know they are trying to come up with their own blockchain, kind of like the intranet, kind of for their own. But
like in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Canada they want to release Canadian dollars on the blockchain. Like a certain sub-segment of their dollars will be digital on a blockchain, like not even a private one, but a public blockchain. They would have a token called the Canadian dollar token.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I think anything where there are middlemen who don't really add anything to the transaction, but just siphon off money. Mm-hmm. You see it a lot in, like, let's say, stockbrokers. Those are people who really don't add anything. Probably, in the case of like a broker at a 401k, probably spread more disinformation than they add information to the system. And somebody like that probably going to be out of business pretty quickly with blockchain and smart contracts. And Uber really doesn't add a whole lot to the equation, even though they're a relatively new company. But they don't really add much to it. They match a buyer, match a rider with a driver, and that stuff can be built once and done on the blockchain, providing more money to the driver. So I think that they're kind of like a middleman. I think that's where blockchain is going to, strike the hardest. And one of the things that I mentioned was, for like the benefit would be the music industry. I think that there are, like songwriters who don't really make a lot of money. I think those are the people who blockchain will, you'll be able to buy a song and the song will go, not to a record label, the money first, and then pay out royalties to the main artist, but the song will actually directly compensate everybody who was involved in the making of it. So I think, I don't know.
I like to think about it as well as what it can do to to maybe facilitate actual democracy. I think there's something there that if you can vote on the blockchain, right? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think that there's is it Australia that's trying to do that right now? I mean, our system of is really outdated. I mean,
it's extraordinary. It's based
to,
on disinformation and deceit. But if you have the choices right in front of, so $1 million is, I mean, think about all the ridiculous rules we have, just the absolute silliest human rules on planet Earth that 99.9% of us do not want in our worlds. We would not, had we been like, hey, did I miss that day? Because I so would have voted no on that. A lot of us say that, right? Well, now you can actually do this, right? We have the technology. We do. It's right there.
Well, my biggest fear is for people who are not able to adapt pretty quickly. So, if you think about like globally, there are a lot of people who will be affected by this technology, and I worry for them. So.
Could you describe that a little more?
Like, I have cousins who went to school to be a corporate lawyer, which I feel that, the adoption of smart contracts might affect his prospect. I've got cousins who are went to school for finance, thinking that they could go into a bank and be a banker. So, it's moving at such a quick pace where the traditional mindset where you grow up thinking that this is a good career path for you suddenly is just gone, right? And then how do you adapt as a society to these kind of change at such a short period of change? We had hundreds of years to slowly adapt to change. But now with technologies, it's a lot shorter. You got to change really and adapt really quickly, and that's my main concern, right? All these are good, but as a society, as a global citizen, how is that gonna affect us? That's something worth looking into.
Yeah, it's certainly worth taking a note that not everybody is going to be immediately better off. Some people may be worse off because, of the rapid pace that new technologies, with the way new technologies advance things. Ultimately, it's, for the better, but, how do we deal with, is there anything we can do about that? There's something to think about. What were we going to say, Sarah?
I was going to say, this is probably a bad start to any sentence, but I don't want to sound like a jerk because I don't.
So I'm going to.
But here I go.
I'm going to be a jerk, which is great.
Right. Because it isn't so sweeping. I actually know and love people like you're talking about too, very close to them. You have cousins, you say, that are on this path. And there's a lot of people that I know and love that are on paths like that. But here's what I guess I'm just really sort of optimistic about it, in the sense that my knee-jerk thought is they're really smart. These people are actually very smart. They didn't get where they are because they weren't able to adapt. They chose this, of course, but their adaptability is really, they're keen people, and I have no doubt that that the space that will be opened up by a lot of middleman positions will be dropped. But then there's going to free up a lot of time. I mean, you might not know what to do with yourself for a minute, but I think that's a crisis that I'm quite familiar with. And I don't think it's necessarily detrimental to a person. That's just my knee-jerk.
You didn't sound like a jerk at all.
Oh, thanks. I tried hard.
No, that makes perfect sense. I'm more worried about organizations, groups of people, governments who will actually take to violence to stop all these.
Yes, the old Luddites. I kind of jokingly called myself a Luddite, but that's, there's an ugly side to it for sure.
Yeah.
The buggy whip thing again. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, you know what? We don't need buggy whips anymore.
If these technologies are, half as revolutionary as some people make them out to be, it's going to put maybe too many people out of work before society can adjust to it. There are proposals to have like a minimum guaranteed income where everybody in society gets a certain income, to no matter what, without doing anything. And that may be a necessity, going forward. But there will, if these technologies do rapidly change the landscape, it could put a lot of people, out of work. You can look at, for instance, the way the taxi union has gone against Uber because Uber is doing such a. And I know you think taxis are the greatest, but the way Uber is, really displacing the taxi industry because they have, owned a monopoly on that business basically for years, through lobbying their governments to protect a second-rate business.
I really had no idea that taxi companies were such big lobbyers. I really didn't.
You
opened my eyes again, Steve.
That's my taking of it. There was a time when anybody could just decide they wanted to be a taxi and pick up people on the street and give them horrible customer service, and so they got together with and said we need to do something about these rickshaw drivers or whatever it was that at the time were picking up passengers and taking them places, and they decided to form like an entity that was monopolized, protected by the local government, and it's been that way ever since.
I have a suggestion for the people who will be looking for jobs, because they're going to be brilliant and they probably have organized minds, so they could use those skills to because we actually, forgive me for sounding like a hippie here, but we live in abundance. We actually, on this planet, I know that there's a lot of people say, oh, there's too many people. No, we have everything that we really need. It's just poorly organized. So look, we're changing everything. There's it's actually a gazillion opportunities to be to change, to restructure.
We're going to have to restructure the podcast pretty soon and say goodbye to Nelson.
Oh, Nelson, it's been so great having you on. Seriously.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Your ideas are brilliant. I'm so glad that you came on and broadcasted them out into the universe so that now we can reap all of these wonderful minds who are going to gather and revolutionize education.
You're too kind. I think everybody with a student loan should join me.
Yes.
So I'm going to send you guys my email, and you can feel free to post it up, and hopefully anybody out there wants to join my vendetta, contact me.
Sign me up.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for being on.
Thanks, Nelson.
Thanks.
It's funny, we didn't have a single cricket the whole time.
Well, I saw you were taking great pains to keep the cricket noises out.
What did you guys think of that?
That was awesome.
That was good, huh?
Oh, so great. Like, super inspiring. I love it. Seriously gives me goosebumps. I love that stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That is what is so cool. Even like what I have to tell you, what I was telling you about how I was having a conversation with my friend in Belfast. I was getting just a little bit of that just because I was talking about the possibilities in the smallest of ways. But when I hear other people who've really put a little more thought and have a little bit more expertise on the subject, when I hear that stuff, I just can't get enough of it.
Surprised. I think England is really, really friendly towards this type of stuff. I would not be incredibly surprised if it turns out that Satoshi Nakamoto was British, or that it was from a team of people in England.
I'd like to think that. Let's stick with that story.
It's kind of a technology, Bitcoin at least, that is a competitor of sorts. I don't want to say a replacement for the U.S. dollar, but possibly a de facto world, de facto reserve currency. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it may be, and this is just tinfoil hat theory, conspiracy-ish.
You're talking to the right person.
Yes, but it very well could be like English government in a way, or a certain quasi-governmental creation to try to, make England a better world power. I don't know.
What if Bitcoin was the new world order currency?
Yeah, it's like their top secret weapon of reverse psychology.
Oh my god, genius!
It is possible.
Well, yeah, because I saw that Lord Rothschild was urging everyone in what do they call the Britex? What is the people that want to secede? He's urging them,
Brexit?
do not do that. Don't do it. And my first thought is, my God, how many people are going to look at this guy? It's like Smithers saying, don't do this. Don't you instinctually do the opposite? But is that their game? Oh, the possibilities are endless. I do love the blockchain. It gets my wheels turning, my imagination going. There's so much fun with it. Who would have thought? Who would have ever thought?
So we were talking about voting earlier, and I think it's Australia. There's an entire party that is trying. I think they're the third largest party in Australia, and what they basically do is they use the blockchain to vote. So every member, has a vote on the blockchain. They still do the representative thing, but they said that the representative is bound by, or professes to vote however they're told to vote by people voting on the blockchain. So it'd be like,
what's the point of having that person then?
Well, because that's the way the system is set up. So it's like you couldn't if we were to say elect a representative for us here, and that representative would say, well, I'll just vote however my constituents tell me to vote based off I'd give them the direct democracy in that way. So instead of like revolutionizing, it's a baby step.
I see. It's a piecemeal. It's like baby step. Exactly. That's very brilliant. I'm gonna have to talk to some of my Australian friends and see if they have any knowledge of that, or if they do that even.
Yeah, I think it's in the bits someplace. I think. Let me take a look. See.
They don't have any guns there.
No guns in Australia?
No, the government took them.
Do the cops
Really?
have guns?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
The cops don't have guns in the UK, do they?
No. They're actually pretty polite. You can file a complaint, and they'll fill out a piece of paper for you with their name on it. It's bizarre.
Did you file a complaint in the UK?
No, the cops are nice there. Yeah, the cops in Germany are nice too.
I'm a big fan of the carabinieri. Everybody loves the carabinieri. Maybe the Italians don't. I'm just like a silly American woman. What are you doing over on that end, Steve? Your wheels turning? You clicking?
Clicking, trying to find the name of the Australian party. New Australian political party seeks to popularize blockchain voting. It is called the Flux Party.
The Flux Party.
Yep.
Where are they on the spectrum? Clearly evolved. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Flux folks out there.
Their website says, "When did our politics become so broken? Things must change. Flux is your way to participate directly in Parliament, empowering people in government decisions directly through technology. Let's break up the party politics, end the gridlock, and return the power to where it should be."
I would love to have someone from Australia contact us.
You hear that, James?
From the Flux Party, especially.
If anybody should be part of the Flux Party over there, James, it's you. Give us a call.
So they have some candidates running. I don't know if anybody's got elected yet, but they're growing, so hopefully it'll work out. Sorry about that.
Don't be. It's fascinating, and I'm glad to know it.
How many Aborigines are going to be on the blockchain?
Interesting. Interesting. I'd love to know the Aboriginal opinion. I have a great deal of respect for their ways.
They got a lot of grit.
They got a lot of wisdom.
Got a lot of didgeridoos. I don't know.
They do. I got a didgeridoo right behind me right now.
For real?
Yep.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I don't know if I can. Can you do it?
Not really.
Come on now.
It'll sound like shit.
I think that
We can just edit
it's
that
kind
in.
of hard to sound. I mean, it's didgeridoo.
Some people
It's not going to sound like a harp.
if you can get circular breathing going.
I thought it was really great having Nelson on.
It was awesome.
He was
Yeah,
very
we got
knowledgeable.
Are you looking forward to the interview with Eric Voorhees next week?
Indeed, he's a big shot.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess we have somebody else joining the show. Not our cricket guy, but the lawyer turned. What did he turn?
Oh, yes,
lawyer?
I hope he forgives me for that.
It's tough. I never know what to say. Like, it's like
I'm going to start with I'm sorry.
I feel bad for my cousin who went to finance school.
Oh, so this is where I feel I'm sorry. I really do love people who are into finances, but they're smart people. They're going to figure out something. They're not dopes. In fact, they usually happen to be the first people who, I'm going to go ahead and say the buggy whip thing again, because that's where I heard it from. Are you listening out there, David Kamenowski?
I've never heard of the buggy whip. I just think of like dominatrixes.
See, that's how obsolete it's become. But there used to be apparently a lot of people that would make buggy whips because everybody needed one, right? Staple of your household. Not so much anymore.
From horses to whores. That's why
Next
I
on the
don't talk
blockchain
much.
show.
There's an image of like somebody with a car that the engine is removed and there's like two horses pulling it.
That's awesome. This should be our image for the episode.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, there you go. You got it.
Done. Done and done.
You should send that to me. All right, farewell world. I like our cricket guy.
I do too, and we're definitely going to need to have him back as we learn the progress of education on the blockchain. This whole thing. I don't know who's into the student loan thing that we got set up. This is another one of those things. Sorry to repeat myself, but you see, we all come together as a society, and we all go, "Okay, I guess we have to do this." Fucking stupid thing that nobody thinks is the smart way to do it. Nobody, except for maybe 10 people who make a lot of money off of it. None of us do. So here we can make an organic change in the progress of not doing it. Brilliant. We just don't have to. We find other ways because we're smart human beings and we're evolving. And that is so great. Fills me with hope.
Yeah. I'm still paying off my student loans.
Right. Because, you think about it and you feel so hopeless and helpless because it's like your vote doesn't even count anyway. It's just going to be steamrolled. It's just like an illusion. And then you start to feel apathetic. And that's how that's how that continues. Because you're just like, I don't even know how to change it. Well, now here you go. It's handed to you. Here's how you change it. You become part of this. And then it changes.
All right, smart people out there, get in contact.
A call to arms.
Wouldn't that be
Nelson.
great if we played a very instrumental role in changing the way higher education is done across the world?
It just happened.
Yeah, I think it did.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly possible.
I mean, that was an embryonic idea. That guy had that a week ago. That is a valuable idea. If you guys are out there listening and you know anything about the blockchain, jump on it. All right, then. Steve, you're exhausted. Do you have anything else to add to this fabulous show?
Oh, sorry. I wish I was more.
You're everything that we
exhausted.
could ever want and more. You have brought me into this world that I wouldn't, I was a little resistant. You know this. I'm a Luddite. I come a little bit kicking and screaming. And now I'm the person who's like, I'm on messaging friends far away saying, hey, what do you know about the blockchain? Because I'm that happy about it. It brings me so much hope. It's so hard to initially wrap your mind around, but now I am like really thrilled about it. And thank you for that.
We need to get your friend on that said that they wanted to hear more.
Well, funny you should say that.
Should share the show with them.
Yeah, I was actually saying I'd like to have you on. I'd like to know what the opinion is over in Northern Ireland. I'd like to know what he's a professor at a university as well. He's a hell of a guy. And I'd like to know what's going on with that. He had heard of it before, and I think that I could see that this is really, it's just about sort of educating yourself on it, and it takes it's a little bit painful to get through those first steps to kind of, like even people like my mom, this is not what she wants to be talking about. But I think she gets just enough that this is something really revolutionary. It isn't just like this economic thing that's like a dry meh. It's actually a really revolutionary concept.
Yeah.
My mom still doesn't listen. Nobody in Kansas listens to this.
We know, by the way, Kansas.
They can't hear you.
We get the stats.
My mom got through the intro, the bits, and like she said, if I could understand anything that was said.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm reading them, and half the time I don't even understand it. But now after I'm on it a little more, it means more to me. However, the bits still are difficult for me to digest, honestly. You can probably tell when I'm reading them.
Oh, it's new stuff all the time.
Thank you again, Steve, for bringing me into this world. Honestly, it's inspiring. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining me on the ride. That's amazing.
It is amazing.
I am incredibly surprised that the both of you are, and grateful that you guys wanted to join. And this podcast is taking off. It's amazing.
It is. It's amazing. It doubles all the time.
It's really cool.
We're going to save people from having student loan debts, hopefully.
Oh, my God.
Be a part of, the solution.
Oh, I kind of want to cry.
Don't cry.
I might.
I want to go to bed.
Okay, let's go to bed.
All right.
Good night,
Thanks,
Steve.
All right. That was so